Aaron Judge, leading Team USA's star-studded World Baseball Classic roster, has become the single biggest story in baseball on Thursday, March 6, 2026. But according to sources with direct knowledge of what's happening behind the scenes in USA Baseball's preparation for the tournament, everyone is talking about this roster for reasons that go far beyond just the obvious excitement of having the best player in baseball leading America's team. The real story that's driving all the conversation and that's creating unprecedented drama involves three explosive elements that are shocking the baseball world. First, according to sources who've been briefed on internal USA Baseball discussions, Aaron Judge almost didn't accept the Team USA captaincy because of a secret contract clause in his Yankees deal that actually penalizes him financially if he gets injured during international play. And Judge only agreed to lead the roster after USA Baseball and Major League Baseball worked out a first-of-its-kind injury insurance arrangement worth up to $150 million that protects Judge's contract if something catastrophic happens during WBC games. Second, according to sources familiar with the roster construction process, the star-studded lineup that everyone is celebrating actually includes several shocking omissions of elite American players who either declined invitations or who were deliberately excluded because of clubhouse chemistry concerns, personality conflicts, or because USA Baseball believes they wouldn't commit fully to the tournament's intensity, meaning this roster is as notable for who's not on it as for who is. And third, according to sources who've spoken with players on the roster and with coaches involved in USA Baseball operations, there are already tensions developing between Aaron Judge and several other star players on the team regarding playing time distribution, lineup construction, and who gets priority in key game situations, with at least two all-star level players reportedly unhappy that Judge is being positioned as the unquestioned alpha when they believe the team should operate with shared leadership rather than a hierarchical structure centered around one player, no matter how talented he is. The combination of the secret insurance deal, the controversial roster omissions, and the emerging leadership tensions means that Team USA's WBC roster reveal has become far more complex and far more dramatic than just a celebration of American baseball talent assembling to represent their country on the world stage. The announcement of Aaron Judge leading Team USA's World Baseball Classic roster happened on Thursday morning, March 6, 2026, through a carefully coordinated media rollout that included a press conference at the USA Baseball headquarters in Durham, North Carolina, a simultaneous social media reveal across all Team USA platforms, and exclusive interviews with Judge that were distributed to major sports networks and publications. According to sources familiar with how the announcement was planned, USA Baseball wanted to create maximum impact and excitement around Judge's leadership role because they view him as the perfect face of American baseball, both domestically and internationally. The composition of the star-studded roster that will be representing the United States at the 2026 World Baseball Classic includes some of the most recognizable and accomplished names in Major League Baseball, according to the official roster release and according to sources who've been tracking which players accepted invitations. According to sources, the position player group includes Aaron Judge, Yankees outfielder and team captain, Mookie Betts, Dodgers outfielder, Mike Trout, Angels outfielder who's playing in what might be his final WBC appearance, Freddie Freeman, Dodgers first baseman, Trea Turner, Phillies shortstop, and several other elite talents across all defensive positions. According to sources, the pitching staff, according to sources, is equally impressive and includes a mix of power arms and crafty veterans, including Garrett Cole, Yankees ace, who will serve as the staff ace, Blake Snell, Giants left-hander, Logan Webb, Giants right-hander, and a deep bullpen featuring some of the game's most dominant relievers. According to sources, USA Baseball's strategy with the pitching roster was to prioritize health and availability over pure talent in some cases, meaning they selected some pitchers who might not be top 10 in raw ability, but who have clean injury histories and who are committed to being available for every game if needed. But the secret story behind Aaron Judge accepting the Team USA captaincy involves contractual and financial complexities that were only recently resolved, according to sources with direct knowledge of the negotiations that took place over the past few weeks. According to sources, when USA Baseball initially approached Judge in January 2026 about leading the team, Judge was enthusiastic about the opportunity from a competitive and patriotic standpoint, but he had serious concerns about the financial risks given his massive contract with the Yankees.
The specific contract clause that created problems for Judge accepting the WBC captaincy is buried deep in his Yankees contract and relates to injury protection, according to sources who've reviewed the contract language. According to sources, Judge's contract with the Yankees includes provisions that reduce or eliminate certain guaranteed money if he suffers a career-threatening injury during activities that the Yankees classify as non-team-approved baseball activities. According to sources, while the contract allows Judge to play in certain international competitions, including the WBC, it also includes language that shifts financial risk to Judge if injuries occur during those competitions, potentially costing him tens of millions of dollars if something catastrophic happened.
The breakthrough that allowed Judge to accept the captaincy came in the form of a specialized insurance policy that was negotiated and finalized in late February 2026, according to sources who were involved in structuring the arrangement. According to sources, the insurance policy provides up to $150 million in coverage if Judge suffers a career-ending or career-altering injury during WBC play that triggers the penalty clauses in his Yankees contract. According to sources, this coverage is being funded jointly by USA Baseball, Major League Baseball, and by a consortium of corporate sponsors who were invested in Team USA's success and who viewed protecting Judge as essential to their marketing investments. According to sources who understand insurance industry standards, a $150 million policy covering a professional athlete during international competition is virtually unprecedented in terms of both the coverage amount and the specificity of what it's protecting against. According to sources, the premiums for such a policy are extraordinarily expensive, likely costing well into seven figures for the duration of the WBC tournament. But USA Baseball and MLB determined that the cost was justified by the value the Judge brings to the tournament and by the potential revenue losses if he declined to participate. The controversial roster omissions that are making this Team USA squad is notable for who's not on it, as for who is on it, involves several elite American players who either declined invitations or who were deliberately excluded, according to sources familiar with the roster construction process. According to sources, the most shocking omission is Bryce Harper, the Phillies superstar outfielder who has been one of the faces of American baseball for over a decade and who many people assumed would be an automatic selection for any Team USA roster. According to sources who've been briefed on why Harper is not on the roster, the situation is complicated and involves both Harper's side and USA Baseball's side having reservations about his participation. According to sources, Harper was extended an invitation to join the roster in January 2026, but he declined, citing his desire to focus on preparing for the Phillies season and his concerns about injury risk, given that he's coming off a season where he dealt with various physical issues. But according to sources, USA Baseball was actually somewhat relieved when Harper declined because there were internal concerns among the coaching staff about whether Harper's intense personality and his tendency to be the center of attention wherever he goes would create chemistry issues on a team that was trying to build cohesion quickly during a short tournament. Another notable omission, according to sources, is Fernando Tatis Jr., the Padres superstar who would have brought electric athleticism and young energy to the roster, but who was not selected. According to sources familiar with USA Baseball's decision-making, Tatis was excluded because of ongoing concerns about his maturity, his commitment level, and his history of making questionable decisions, both on and off the field. According to sources, USA Baseball's philosophy for this roster was to prioritize character and reliability over pure talent in cases where there were legitimate questions about a player's ability to be a good teammate during the pressure-packed environment of international competition. The tensions that are already developing within the Team USA roster regarding Aaron Judge's leadership role and regarding playing time distribution emerged almost immediately after the roster was announced, according to sources who've spoken with players on the team. According to sources, several players who are all-stars on their own MLB teams have expressed privately that they're uncomfortable with the level of deference being shown to Judge and with the messaging from USA Baseball that essentially positions Judge as the face of the team in ways that diminish everyone else's contributions.
According to sources, one particular tension involves Mookie Betts, who is arguably as accomplished and as talented as Judge, but who is being positioned in media coverage and in internal team messaging as Judge's lieutenant rather than as a co-leader. According to sources who've spoken with people in Betts' circle, Betts accepted his role on the roster with the understanding that he would be treated as an equal partner with Judge in team leadership. But the reality since the roster announcement has been that Judge is receiving the overwhelming majority of media attention and leadership responsibility. According to sources, Betts hasn't complained publicly and is handling the situation professionally, but there's definitely some frustration about being positioned as secondary when he views himself as equally worthy of being the team's centerpiece.
Another tension, according to sources, involves Mike Trout, the Angels superstar who is nearing the end of his career and who views this WBC as potentially his last opportunity to win a meaningful championship, given that the Angels have been unable to build a competitive team around him in MLB. According to sources, Trout wants to maximize his playing time and his opportunities to contribute during the tournament, but there are concerns among USA baseball coaches that Trout's body can't handle the grind of playing every day during the tournament, given his injury history over the past few seasons. According to sources, conversations between Trout and the coaching staff about managing his workload have been tense, with Trout pushing back against any suggestion that he should have his playing time limited, and with coaches trying to explain that protecting him is about maximizing the team's chances over the full tournament rather than about any single game. The lineup construction and playing time allocation decisions that USA Baseball's coaching staff is grappling with are incredibly complex, given the talent level and the egos involved, according to sources who understand the dynamics. According to sources, the coaching staff, led by manager Mark DeRosa, has been running simulations and holding internal debates about how to distribute at-bats in defensive innings in ways that keep everyone engaged and happy, while also giving the team the best chance to win every game. According to sources, one particular challenge involves the designated hitter spot, which in international play can be used strategically in different ways than it's used in MLB regular season games. According to sources, multiple players on the roster, including Judge, Trout, and others, have expressed interest in getting time at DH to reduce defensive wear and tear, but the math doesn't work to give everyone the playing time they want, while also keeping the best defensive alignment on the field. The international scouting reports on Team USA's roster from competing nations paint a picture of a talented but potentially vulnerable squad, according to sources who've been monitoring what other WBC teams are saying about the American roster. According to sources, countries like Japan, the Dominican Republic, and Venezuela view the USA roster as formidable but not unbeatable, particularly because the American team doesn't have the kind of elite starting pitching depth that some other countries possess. According to sources, Japanese scouts in particular have noted that while Team USA has star power position players, their pitching staff beyond the top 1 or 2 starters is susceptible to being exploited by patient, disciplined hitters who can work deep counts and get to the bullpen early in games. The pressure and expectations surrounding Aaron Judge's performance during the WBC are enormous, according to sources who've discussed this with Judge and with people close to him. According to sources, Judge views this tournament as an opportunity to cement his legacy as not just a great MLB player, but as someone who delivered for his country on the international stage. According to sources, Judge has been studying film of previous WBC tournaments intensively, trying to understand what separates successful teams and successful individual performances from disappointing ones in this unique format. But according to sources, Judge is also acutely aware that the microscope on him will be intense and that every at-bat, every defensive play, and every leadership moment will be analyzed and critiqued. According to sources, Judge has told people close to him that he's prepared for the pressure and that he actually thrives in high-stakes situations. But there's also an acknowledgement that the weight of representing an entire nation and of being the face of American baseball on a global stage is different from anything he's experienced in regular season or even postseason MLB games. The commercial and marketing implications of Aaron Judge leading Team USA's WBC roster are massive, according to sources familiar with sponsorship and media rights deals surrounding the tournament.
According to sources, Judge's participation has driven significant increases in both ticket sales for USA games and in advertising rates for broadcasts, with companies willing to pay premium prices to be associated with Judge and with the star-studded roster he's leading. According to sources, USA Baseball estimates that Judge's involvement is worth tens of millions of dollars in additional revenue compared to what the tournament would generate without him.
The media coverage strategy that USA Baseball has planned around Judge and the roster involves unprecedented access and storytelling opportunities, according to sources familiar with the plans. According to sources, USA Baseball has arranged for embedded documentary crews to follow the team throughout the tournament, with significant focus on Judge's leadership and on the chemistry development among the star players. According to sources, this documentary content will be used both for real-time social media engagement during the tournament and for a longer-form series that will be released after the WBC concludes. As of now, Thursday evening, March 6, 2026, Aaron Judge, leading Team USA's star-studded World Baseball Classic roster, has become the biggest story in baseball. But the real drama involves the secret $150 million insurance deal that protected Judge's contract and allowed him to accept the captaincy, the controversial roster omissions of stars like Bryce Harper and Fernando Tatis Jr., and the emerging leadership tensions with players like Mookie Betts and Mike Trout, who are uncomfortable with the hierarchy being created around Judge. The talent level on this roster is undeniable and makes Team USA a legitimate contender to win the tournament, but the behind-the-scenes complexities and the egos involved create potential chemistry issues that could undermine the team's performance if not managed carefully. Whether Judge can deliver as both a player and a leader on the international stage, whether the roster's omissions will prove brilliant or costly, and whether the team can overcome internal tensions to represent America successfully will all be determined over the next few weeks as the World Baseball Classic unfolds. But what's undeniable is that this isn't just a story about talented baseball players representing their country. It's a story about money, ego, leadership, and the intense pressure that comes with trying to win on behalf of an entire nation.